Hello everyone, Silvermellow here. If you cannot tell from my thumbnail or by the title of the video, I'll be taking characters from movies and animes and even games and turning them into Mandalorians in my art style. If you haven't watched any of my prior videos, I'll explain how I write the stories. Basically what I do is I roll a dice to determine how the story goes. For instance, if a character wanted to spy or wanted to do a certain fight, I would roll a dice and see if it would happen or doesn't, and if it does, see how well or sluggish they do. Well, anyway, I won't drag out this. I hope you all enjoy my art and the storytelling. Enjoy the video. In the galaxy, in the darkest depths of the underworld and black markets, are murderers, bounty hunters, and bandits. Somewhere in the galaxy, in a tavern, there are murderers, bounty hunters, bandits, all sitting, having a drink, talking, chatting, telling their stories and adventures of plunder, destruction, and mayhem. You can hear everyone shouting, yelling, talking about their stories. Amazing to think that so many evildoers or lawbreakers are enjoying themselves in this bar. Everyone can hear this even outside, including a very old but strongish looking old man. He walks into the bar, goes to the bar counter and orders a drink. Starts drinking it as he listens to all of the smugglers, bandits, ruffians talking about their goods and who they've robbed and how many jobs they have done. Till the old man slams his drink down and shouts out a story that catches everyone's attention. The story about how he was a part of a small team of Mandalorians trying to fight a much more sinister Mandalorian. Everyone's shouting came quickly to an end as they all heard the idea behind the tale and thoughts behind how a Mandalorian would be fighting two others. You know, everyone knows the power of just one Mandalorian, how it's on par with the old Jedi. So everyone became dead quiet as they were sipping their drinks and listening to the old man, this apparent to one person, very well known smuggler's perspective. 7 years ago, on a very primitive but wealthy planet full of ores and riches that have been untouched by other galaxies, army, and other companies trying to gain resources. I was on the planet looking for kyber crystals, hunting them down, mining them up since this planet had been untouched. I was doing my normal day-to-day thing, going around, searching, scouting. It was a very primitive planet, and the people that did live there, that with any intelligence, didn't really understand how much kyber crystals were worth. To the right buyers and the right hands, of course. Life were using swords and bows, so dealing with them wasn't a problem. The thing that was the problem was how many there were. Their numbers were quite vast, but they didn't care about other people. When I tried to mine their ore, I just gave them knowledge and they backed off. But every day was about the same. Mine crystals, hunt for food, go back, sleep, gather more crystals, then thereon so forth. However, when I came across one day was that when I was going hunting, I came across this oddly weird droid, a droid I've never seen. It was odd, it had two red kyber crystals that were glowing. It seemed it was transmitting something. I, however, wasn't too focused on it, but it had looked like it was mining kyber crystals. So, I decided to leave. Me being a well-known smuggler knows that if other people know my reputation, I could get into some serious fights. So, I went back, gathered the crystals that I needed, and started heading back to my shuttle, which was where I made my camp, of course, and I had been eating food for the majority of the days. I was generally panicked because this primitive planet, they didn't have advanced tech. So when of course I saw the droid, I was being a bit overly cautious, but to be fair, who can blame me? But getting back to the story, so I was heading back to my shuttle. I was taking the normal pathway but keeping aware of my surroundings until all of a sudden I saw more of these droids. They were taking apart my shuttle and ship, and they were also stealing the rest of my kyber crystals. I just couldn't believe it. Of course, being me, seeing droids stealing my bounty, my world hard earned crystals that I was planning to sell to the right buyer, being stolen by droids that I know are being controlled by a certain people. I don't, at the time, I didn't know who, but I knew that droids can only be commanded by another living being with intelligence. So, me doing my normal, I was about to pull out my blaster. Just as I was about to fire and start a fight with these droids, I was tackled to the ground by this young, feminine Mandalorian wearing white armor. I found it weird, but I hadn't had enough time to look at it to ponder, as, for some weird reason, I had lost consciousness. Not sure what happened afterwards, but when I came to, I had awoken to the night sky, the stars. It was a very beautiful scene in this forest like jungle. However, when I turned to my side, I could see this small, light, slightly lit campfire, as if this campfire had been made so no one could find us. Just across from the campfire, throwing in more firewood, was the feminine, white armored Mandalorian. I tried to sit up, but it seemed like I had slightly injured my side. The Mandalorian had saw this and told me to keep it easy, as when I had been tackled down, apparently a droid was about to attack me from behind. I wasn't aware of this, so it makes sense why I was tackled all of a sudden. What didn't make any sense was why I was in a lot of pain. Apparently, as I had fell down, I had hit a rock or two and slightly injured myself. The feminine Mandalorian, she had kept an eye on me, made sure I was safe for a while. So I thanked her and sat myself up, having something to eat. I then spoke to her and asked her about all kinds of things and why she was here. A little time had passed after starting this conversation with the feminine Mandalorian, and it turns out this Mandalorian is female. Her name is Luna, and she's about 19 years old. She was taught the ways of the Mandalore, or Mandalorian, as a foundling through the ancient ways of Mandalore. But unfortunately, not many of those clans exist to this day, but that might be just because they like to stay in hiding. But it didn't matter. The point was that she took her oath at a very early age. She told me that she's going to stick with the Mandalorian ancient ways until she finds her long lost twin brother. Apparently, when she was found as a foundling, during, I believe it was the Clone Wars she mentioned, but to be fair, that would make her a little older than what she is, so I don't believe that much, but I know this to be true. When she was found, her twin brother wasn't taken with. They were separated when she was found as a foundling. So her goal is to use the skills she has learned to find him, and then when she does one day, she intends to take off her helmet and revoke the ways of the ancients of Mandalore. because it is said that you should never, as a Mandalorian, remove your helmet to any living being. But enough of her, back to what was happening. After we were talking, I was about to ask her a few more questions about why she was here, till all of a sudden a droid from the same make had come out of the woods, seemed to be rushing from something or rushing to us like it knew where we were. The female Mandalorian, Luna, had already brought out her sword and her blaster ready to cut down the droid. Just as I was about to watch her pull the trigger, all of a sudden a green Mandalorian came rushing out from the woods, and as his hand touched the droid suddenly exploded. On the impact of the explosion, all I could hear from this green Mandalorian was a rough voice saying, "Die!" When the dust settled and the smoke had cleared, all I could see was this green Mandalorian standing as fire bounced off his armor. His armor was red, green, and it looked like he had big gauntlets from his hands where I guess explosions could be minimized, or maybe the damage wouldn't be as bad. But the point was, it was only him standing on the wreckage of the droid. It didn't take very long for the two Mandalorians to explain the situation to me, and this is what I remembered from when I had this conversation. Apparently, these two Mandalorians had been sent out via the guild to hunt down a rogue Mandalorian selling Mandalorian secrets and locations. Of course, this didn't sit well with any of the Mandalorians, so they sent out two of their supposedly youngest from two separate clans to deal with the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's name, I believe, was called Megabolt. I think it was because he liked the idea of mega and he always put blue bolts on his armor. It doesn't matter. The point was, it took us a few days until we found where the droids were going, or coming back from. Either way, we followed the droids back to the home base where we saw a Mandalorian with a similar description and armor to the one we've been told to capture and deal with. Of course, I say we as in I was a part of the team, which they were. I asked if they could take me off the planet since my ship had been destroyed, or more of the case, scrapped. So they said they would if I can help them out, so I did. When we found the Mandalorian, we could hear him speaking to the droids and heard him say something to the droids, and the droids said yes, Megabolt, which gave the other two Mandalorians next to me just enough incentive to run out there, starting a massive fight. And it was insane. I could only stand there and watch as I was watching Megabolt controlling 20 to 30 droids without even getting hit, dodging, using his jetpack, while you're seeing the green explosive Mandalorian constantly using the explosions from his hands to move and jump about. It was insane. At first I thought he was flying for a jetpack, but no, he was only using his explosions, and it was weird but really impressive. As I was watching this fight unfold, I had realized that not only was this Green Mandalorian using his explosions to move about, but he was using them to fight the droids, exploding them each time he was moving. It was like watching a Jedi without its lightsaber. It was insane. But the weirdest thing was watching this female Mandalorian. She was using such a primitive weapon and blaster, yet she was slicing and blasting these droids to pieces. It was nuts. There she was, running, slashing droids in half, blasting some out of the sky, while also blasting at megabolts. Luna was a very, very powerful Mandalorian, but it also seemed like she was holding back, like she wasn't using her full strength. Maybe it was because she was so focused on finding her brother and now she has to deal with this Mandalorian selling secrets. But the point that remains is that it was a fight between three Mandalorians and it was insane. You could see how hard they worked on their training. You could see everything about them poured into them as a Mandalorian. It was insane. Back to the present day, the old smuggler began to drink more of his drink as the others in the room were staring at him, waiting for more of the story. But he said no. He said that I have people to go and see and I have to leave. But I'll tell you the rest of the story next time I come down here, because the drinks here are amazing. I'll talk to you, all of you scumbags of the black market and underworld, later. Thank you all for getting through my video. I'm not sure if the storytelling was great in this one. I feel like maybe I slurred my words, or maybe I might have tried rushing the story a little bit. I do apologize for that. I'm sort of in a rush for an appointment when I was trying to finish this video off. Anyway, I'm very grateful you guys got to the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed the content, the art, the story. I hope I also made it appealing for possibly a part 2 to this. Anyway, please tick the like button and click the bell and subscribe. It would really help. It would show that you guys are enjoying what I do. It shows that you guys want me to do more videos, which will motivate me to try and get more content out. I hope you all have a good night or day, or if you're working, I hope you enjoyed listening to the story, or if you're just at home and this is in the background, I really hope that you're having a pleasant day. If not, don't forget, everything does get better with time. Have a lovely day. Everyone stay safe. Silver Mellow, out.